Welcome to Cooking with Tristan. Today's recipe is Colleen's Apple Bundt Cake. Let's begin. To make Colleen's Apple Bundt Cake, you will need 3 bowls. The first bowl consists of 1½ cups of vegetable oil, 2 grade A large eggs, and 2 cups of sugar. Our second bowl consists of 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1½ teaspoons of salt. The main bowl will need 3 cups of sifted flour. If you don't have a sifter, you can scoop your flour into a cup and level it off. That will take the place of sifting. For our third bowl, you will need 3 cups of chopped apples, Granny Smith or McIntosh. McIntosh apples look like this. If you don't want to cut them all, you can always use one of these. You just press down, and it'll cut the whole apple up. Then you just chop into small slices. You will also need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Let's begin. The first step to making Colleen's Apple Bundt Cake is, you must take your eggs and crack them into the bowl. Next, add your sugar, and then your oil. You then will need to stir. The second step to making Colleen's Apple Bundt Cake is, you must combine the second bowl mixture. You need to start by taking your 3 cups of sifted flour and adding it to your 1½ teaspoons of salt. Then your 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And finally, your teaspoon of cinnamon. Then you need to mix well. Your final product should look like this. The third step to making Colleen's Apple Bundt Cake is, take our 3 cups of chopped apples and add our 2 teaspoons of vanilla. If your family likes nuts, you can also add 1 cup of pecans and almonds, or just 1 cup of pecans. Sadly, our family doesn't like nuts, and so we will be skipping this step today. When you are done, please set your mixture aside. Our next step to making Colleen's Apple Bundt Cake is, we are going to need to combine bowl 1 and bowl 3. We will, for now, move bowl 2 out of the way. Slowly pour bowl 3 into bowl 1. Then stir. When you've stirred for a minute, you can then slowly and gradually add bowl 2. You will need to stir until blended. When you're toward the end of your stirring, make sure there is no flour left in the mixture. Make sure to go all the way to the bottom to check. Then Let sit for 15 minutes before continuing to stir. It has been 15 minutes. It is now a good idea to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Our next step is to re-stir our mixture. After you have stirred the mixture well, you will need to grease and flour your Bundt pan. We have done this already to save some time. The next step is to glop our mixture into the pan. You should use a big spoon. It needs to be even. Once you have glopped your mixture in, you should take a large spoon and flatten it out on the top. Once it is flat, it should look like this. You will now need to bake it for 1 to 1.5 hours at 350 degrees. Continuously check it because the top should look thick and crunchy. It's been 1 hour and 15 minutes, so let's check on our bundt cake. It looks done, but we gotta test it. You can tell when it's done by taking a skewer, and it should go all the way down and come out clean. It should also be able to go easily through the apples and still come out clean. That's how you can tell it's done. It now needs to sit out for 15 minutes to cool before we can flip it over for the rest of the time. The cake has been cooling for 15 minutes now. We're going to flip it onto this gorgeous plate, and it'll be ready to eat. We flipped the cake, and it looks pretty amazing. It should cool for another 15 minutes, and then serve with whipped topping. If you're not going to serve it right away, cover it in tin foil so it doesn't get too soft. Enjoy!